How much should you feed your cat? Seems like a simple question, but really, what is the answer? Well, it depends on who you ask. And when you do get this magic number, it could be specified in terms of cups, ounces, milliliters, grams, calories, and even fractions of a can. And as you can see, Ginger's not too impressed with cans anyway. Are you confused yet? Well, the story is just beginning. Most people rely on packaged food labels. If you try the internet, you'll get a different answer again. Even vets will vary in their recommendations. So what goes into calculating the right allowance? Well, the calorie content is very important, but you also need to consider their weight, age, activity level, and any other health conditions. Still confused? Well, who wouldn't be? And it's certainly got Tabitha in a spin. Next, we'll try and uncover some of the mystery about calculating an allowance from a food label, and also talk about how your vet does it. And I know some of you are thinking that there must be an easier way, so we're going to be introducing the AutoDiet feeder, which does all of this for you automatically, so you don't have to. Now let's talk about food labels. The first thing you're going to have to do is to weigh your pet. Let's do an example. Let's say your kitty is overweight and about 18 pounds. The first thing you'll do is to convert the pounds into kilograms, which in this case is 8.2 kilograms, and then take a look at the table, and you can see that the closest measurement is 8 kilograms, and the recommended daily allowance is 5/8 of a cup. Great, but say we want to feed our kitty 4 meals a day, so we have to divide this allowance into 4, and that works out as 5/32 of a cup per meal. Congratulations, you've calculated the allowance, but you probably don't have a scoop for 5/32 of a cup. And if you have an automatic feeder, it's pretty certain that you don't have a setting for that either, because most of them have a minimum increment of 1/8 of a cup. So what good is all this precision if you can't actually dispense the amount? Of course, another alternative is for you to go to your vet, but you'll be surprised that he uses much the same method, except for he'll tweak it a little bit for the age and other health conditions of your pet. So basically they arrive at a similar number, and maybe not even more accurate than the food guideline method. So why is that? Your vet is probably very smart. Well, they use guidelines that are based on the average cat, and really no cat is average. It's sort of like saying that you should eat the same as your friend, but you know how that goes. Your friend can eat like a horse and never put on a pound. So everybody is an individual, and the same is true for cats. So what your vet does is to recommend an allowance, knowing that it won't be very accurate, and then weighs your pet. And then at the next visit, he'll weigh the pet again, and then he'll be able to gauge whether he needs to adjust the allowance upwards or downwards, depending on how much weight your cat has lost. Then this is repeated at subsequent visits until your cat finally reaches the desired weight. And so this trial and error approach is basically the same as you would use if you were doing it from the food label, and really results in the same overall outcome. As the old adage goes, if you first don't succeed, try again. Well, Max thinks this is enough to put a cat to sleep. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to avoid these complicated calculations and repetitive trial and error, and still be confident that the allowance would be correct and accurate for your cat? Well, amazingly there is. The new wireless Whiskers AutoDiet feeder is designed to do exactly that. Up to 8 pets are uniquely identified by attaching a wireless tag to their collar. During the first 3 days of use, the feeder measures how much each individual animal eats, and then sets the average as their allowance. Automatically, you don't have to do anything. The allowance that is set is based on their individual and habitual behavior. It is not based on a one-size-fits-all average cat assumption, found on the food label and used by many vets. Once the allowance is set, the doors will close if a pet tries to exceed its allowance. In addition, the portion control feature allows you to spread the allowance throughout the day to prevent gorging. The feeder will even alert you if one of your pets is underfeeding. One of the things that is unique about wireless Whiskers is that it does not dispense food. Instead, it identifies the pet and measures how much it eats. The problem with dispensing is once the food is in the bowl, who knows which pet will eat it. The AutoDiet Wizard sets the allowance automatically after the 3-day period, and for a maintenance diet, no further adjustments are required. To put a pet on a diet, simply detect its tag and use the Adjust AutoDiet feature to change their allowance in simple 10% increments relative to the baseline allowance. That's right, no messing around with measuring cups, food scales, or any complicated calculations, or scooping. How easy is that? Wireless Whiskers is the first and only truly smart feeder. Most of the features are unique and not available on any other feeder on the market. The rich feature set allows you to address even the most difficult feeding situations. You can lock out specific pets, keep the dog out of the cat's food, even set up separate feeding stations for different food types. You can even prevent feeding during the night if you wish. Wireless Whiskers is the ultimate multi-pet diet management system and the only truly smart feeder.